Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Today on the House of Villains, Season 1, Episode 5, Shake loses his damn mind. Let's get into it. It's the morning after New York has been kicked to the curb. And while these villains are celebrating, I'm mourning. I miss New York. But I feel a sense of peace knowing that she's on the next 2 seasons of the show. Anyway, Anne Fieser apparently isn't taking any moment to celebrate her staying in this house. She wants to know who the 2 people are that voted for her to leave. How about just be thankful that you're here, Anne Fieser? Upstairs, Fairplay is telling Bobby that he feels a stabbing pain in his wallet every time someone comes up to him on the street and says, "Oh my God, you won Survivor, right?" Because no, he did not. And his bank account reflects that, apparently. Outside, Anfisa is looking deep into Shake's eyes and asking him if he went against her. He says no. She wonders if Corinne did. Shake says, yep, that's exactly who did it. Like the little fucking liar that he is. Bobby comes over and Shake doubles down on his lie. He says Corinne did it because if Anfisa is around, then Bananas is going to have all of his attention on her. Which is pretty good reasoning, honestly. Even if it is a damn lie. Upstairs, Corinne and Omarosa are dubious about what the 3 outside are talking about. Corinne says that Bobby is the only person she has a real alliance with, which is hilarious because Shake is now telling Bobby he did in fact vote for Anfisa to leave. Bobby then says in a confessional, villain rule number 88, don't trust me. Both Shake and Corinne have made the mistake of putting their trust in this man. And again I say, you shouldn't be trusting anyone in this game. Everyone is getting ready for the day. Bananas announces he's not wearing any underwear, which is definitely a piece of information I could do without. Bobby and Omarosa are talking. They're talking about how Corinne's relationship with Bananas is dangerous because it's deeper than an alliance, apparently. Even though, according to Corinne, she only has one alliance, so that would mean her and Bananas are not even in an alliance. I'm fucking confused. Now Bobby is saying in his testimonial that since Corinne voted against New York, he doesn't consider their alliance valid anymore. You done fucked up on this one, Corinne. Corinne in her bedroom is completely oblivious to all of this talk. She's grabbing the giant gingerbread man that's been lingering around the house for God knows what reason and putting him into New York's bed. She doesn't want to be lonely. Maybe she's planning on asking him if he knows the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane. No, she's pondering on what they're going to do today. Inga comes over the loudspeaker and tells the villains to put on their swimsuits because they're about to get super wet. They're all now spiraling the fuck out. And Fisa has no idea what a slip and slide is. I guess they don't have those in Russia. Probably because the water would be frozen like 99.9% of the time. I don't know. I know nothing of Russia in the summer. I know nothing of Russia in the winter either. I know nothing of Russia, period. Anyway, Bobby is deciding on gumboots and a giant-ass puffy jacket. Downstairs, Bobby is now telling Corinne and Anfisa what Shake said to him about voting for New York to stay and telling people that Corinne voted New York out. Corinne is now disclosing this information to Bananas. Bananas, in turn, is now conspiring to make Shake his meat shield, which is a pretty gross term. He wants Shake to win Supervillain to get the attention off his own back. I can't tell if that's a smart move or not. How can you be so confident that he wouldn't put you up? Anyway, the people arrive at the Battle Royale challenge. They've arrived at some kind of freezer situation. I don't know what the hell Anfisa was thinking with her outfit. She's wearing a tiny cropped cardigan and Daisy Dukes. Then again, as I've just pointed out, she's from Russia, so who knows? This may feel like a summer's day to her. Joel tells them that the challenge is called Cold and Calculated. Each villain has a chest with 3 locks. Then they have a bunch of blocks of ice with keys. They need to find the keys to fit in the locks. The first to open their chest wins. First of all, they need to get their tiny ice hammer out of a block of ice. Oh, and they can also add locks to other people's boxes. I don't know if I explained any of that correctly. Before they start, a producer announces that they're not allowed to pee on the box of ice to get it to melt, because, of course, a bunch of them were planning on doing that. Gross. They begin. Shake and Bobby strip down and start rubbing their torso on the ice. And Fisa looks like she's trying to use her crotch. And I guess Bananas took this as inspiration because he starts humping the fuck out of his block of ice. He gets his hammer out first. He puts a lock on Bobby's box. Shake gets his hammer out. And he puts another lock on Bobby's box. Pretty much everyone has got their hammer out except for Anfisa. It's kind of hard to know who's doing what at this point, but it looks like both Fairplay and Bananas are helping Shake out. Shake gets all of his locks off and starts gloating, telling everyone they're toast. You're toast. You're toast. You're toast, motherfucker. But this dummy didn't open his box. So while he's running his mouth, Omarosa gets her last lock off and opens her box. She wins Supervillain of the Week. Bobby is telling Shake that everybody wants you gone, and that he's a fake-ass bitch. Joel is enjoying the show. Shake tells us in a testimonial that he's on thin ice. A producer wants to congratulate him on his pun. I do not. It's pretty weak. Back at the mansion, Bananas, Fairplay, and Shake are discussing that the three of them are more than likely the people up on the hit list. Shake tells them that the pressure that he felt to win the challenge turned him into someone that he doesn't see often. Someone who enjoys yelling at women. I have to say, I don't really believe that side of Shake isn't around often. We see Corinne and Bananas in the hot tub together. They're discussing who they think will be up on the hit list. And it takes all of Corinne's concentration not to let her mind slip into thinking about how much she wants to bang Bananas. We then get an 80s hair metal style music video with Bananas riding a giant blow-up banana, which is really reminding me of Trey from Broad City in his scenes from a porno that he was in. Bananas is all, Corinne, snap the fuck out of it. Shake is in a spiral. He's freaking out because people saw a side of him that he didn't want to show, because he thought he had won. You showed your cards too soon and fucked yourself, Shake. I guess he's trying to apologize to Corinne, but he's doing a terrible job at it. In the lounge, Shake is now trying to explain to everyone why he voted for New York to stay. Basically, Anfisa says, you were being a sneaky motherfucker. Correct. Corinne tells Shake not to use her as a pawn in his scheming. And he yells, you're such a good pawn, though. This man isn't doing himself any favors. Could someone get Shake the shovel, please? He's digging himself the biggest hole ever. And apparently he's never felt better. He feels alive from all the villainy he's been playing at. It's really only villainy if your plans succeed, Shake. Omarosa basically says Shake is a sitting duck. She says rule number 53 of being a villain. Never call a house meeting. Did he call a house meeting? I think people just started congregating to watch the shit show. Now Corinne and Shake are screaming at each other. Shake says, you're a brainless little pawn. For someone who claims that this side of him doesn't come out that often, it seems to come pretty easily to him. The next morning, we see Omarosa explaining how the game works to the other women in the kitchen. She's showing them the gameplay for how the women can take control. Omarosa is explaining with Satsumas and says, it's simple math. Tanisha is all, yeah, definitely, yes, yeah. She doesn't get it. Apparently, she hasn't been this confused since she last stepped on a scale. I don't know if I really understood what Omarosa was saying either. Anyway, Corinne doesn't trust Omarosa, but she says she'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Corinne, you don't really have a choice at this point. The villains gather in the bar area for Omarosa's decision on who she's choosing for the threesome date. She asks Eva if she would like to come. Eva is all, no fucking way. I'd rather listen to Bananas play his guitar all day and bleed out of my ear holes than go on a date with you. Omarosa chooses Anfisa and Fairplay. She wants to keep Fairplay on side so he doesn't go against her. They head off on their date. They arrive at a garden with beautiful flowers and teeny tiny little hummingbirds, adorable. Set out for them is a sushi banquet and sake. The three of them are speculating what's happening back at the mansion. Anfisa thinks Corinne and Bananas are in the hot tub. Cut to them in the hot tub and Corinne is giving Bananas a foot massage, which is gross. You don't know where those things have been, Corinne. Bananas is also holding his guitar. Double gross. Fairplay thinks that Shake will be going around digging himself a bigger hole. Cut to Shake telling Corinne that she's such a bachelor girl and that she's thirsty as fuck. I can't disagree with that, considering I've basically said the same thing about her. He thinks the reason that she didn't win the Bachelor is because she gives out free foot massages, which is pretty slut-shamey. Your jealousy is showing, Shake. Corinne has said that the ditziness is an act. I'm not sure about the affection. But whether it's an act or not, put the foot down, Corinne. These men do not deserve your time or energy. Back on the date, they're considering their options for the hit list. Omarosa wants to put Fair Play up as a decoy, along with Bananas and Shake, so that Shake will ultimately be the one that goes. We all know how that play ends, and Fair Play is not down. Back at the mansion, Tanisha and Corinne are stuffing New York's voodoo doll into a box and burying it. They're all, bye, bitch. The threesome arrive back at the mansion. They want to know what they've missed. Oh, just Shake continuing to malfunction. Nothing much. Omarosa wonders whether she should put Shake up to get rid of him, or keep him around because he has a massive target on his back, and that deflects from her. Only problem with that is, if Shake starts acting normal again in like 2 days, people would have completely forgotten about his meltdown. I doubt they would have forgotten about Omarosa being Supervillain twice. Omarosa is struggling with the burden of Supervillain. She pulls Bananas for a chat. She's feeling vulnerable, and Bananas wants her to know that's for good reason. If she pulls the trigger on him, he's going to come back twice as hard on her. She says she hates that because all of the strong contenders then get wiped out and the weak ones drift to the end. I don't disagree with that. The villains head to the strongholds, and I'm not sure why, but everyone is kind of dressed like they're in the Matrix. It's weird, but kind of impressive. Anyway, Omarosa takes her seat. First person up is Shake. No surprises there. He's blabbing on about only having one suit, and I think he's going to say something along the lines of, I clearly need the money because I can only afford this one suit. But no, he waffles on about only having one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment. I guess he thinks he's Marshall Mathers? I don't know. Second person up is Corinne, which is surprising, especially given the Satsuma speech in the kitchen. Corinne is baffled. Bobby says Omarosa is a cold-hearted bitch. Tanisha is gagged. Final person up is Tanisha. WTF. Everyone is gagged by this. I honestly didn't think Omarosa was out here just straight lying to people's faces. But, as I've said in the past, I've never watched a show with her in it. Just heard about her reputation. And here it is. Tanisha says she knew Omarosa would come for her. Omarosa is butthurt because everyone loves Tanisha. Omarosa hates a floater. But I don't think Tanisha's a floater. Tanisha is proving me right by sassing the fuck out of Omarosa. She says, pants is melting, shoes is burning, $24.99. I don't really know what that means. She says, you're a snake. I saw you from the beginning. Omarosa is walking out and Tanisha says, later hater, love, and activated Tanisha. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.